Where are you tuning in from? The phone rang at 2:14 a.m., not the kind of call that apologizes for disturbing you, not the routine just updating you message. The woman on the other end spoke like she was holding danger behind her tongue. Please come immediately, sir. And, don't inform your wife. Then she disconnected. I stared at the screen long enough to realize the thudding I heard wasn't the phone, it was my pulse. The bedroom felt as if the walls had pressed inward, as if the air thickened all at once. My daughter was only admitted for simple tests. A headache, a bit of exhaustion. Nothing serious, or so we believed. But something in that nurse's voice carried a different weight. A cold kind of weight. When I reached the hospital, the corridor outside her room was taped off. Police officers murmuring quietly. A doctor standing with his hands clasped like he'd been trying to scrub off guilt and failed. He saw me and stopped moving. There's something on your daughter's scan, he said. His voice wavered like a breath he was scared to release. On her scan. Not her blood. Not her chest. Her scan. He couldn't even look at me when he said it. My stomach didn't drop in fear. It clenched around something sharper, recognition. A feeling I had pushed aside for years. They brought me into a dim imaging room. The monitor glowed, a lone light in the darkness. A tiny distortion in the scan, a shadow where none should exist. But that wasn't the part that destroyed me. The doctor swallowed before speaking again. The pattern of the tissue appears hereditary. That word didn't shout. It whispered. And in that quiet whisper, my entire world shifted. Hereditary. The nurse couldn't meet my gaze. The police did, because this wasn't a medical emergency anymore. It was the beginning of a truth they suspected I already knew. My wife's strange smiles. Her late walks. The call she stepped outside to take. The way she brushed aside questions about our daughter's migraines. Little pieces scattered across years suddenly locking together. An officer cleared his throat. Sir, the genetic markers don't appear to match you. My heartbeat didn't race. My face didn't flinch. But something inside me cracked, silently and permanently. I thanked them. Come. Civil. Like they'd just returned something I'd misplaced. Inside, denial tried to wake. It couldn't, because deep down, a small part of me had always known. I didn't return home. I sat in the hospital atrium, hands folded, staring at nothing while my mind rearranged itself into something cold and precise. Emotions would only cloud me. Observation would guide me. For the next several days, I became a shadow inside my own home. I spoke softly, smiled gently, mirrored normalcy, while studying every move my wife made. The numbers she dialed. The messages she hid when my reflection appeared on a screen behind her. Names she mentioned once and never again. I requested every one of my daughter's medical files. Checked insurance logs. Found visits my wife never shared, specialists she never mentioned. Every detail made the knot in my chest pull tighter. I said nothing. I waited. I sent a discreet sample to a private genetics lab, not for disease, for paternity. The results would take 5 days. 5 days of pretending. 5 days of quietly dissecting the truth. 5 days of watching the woman I slept beside like she was a stranger wearing my wife's face. The email came at 6:07 a.m. No explanation. Just one brutal sentence. Probability of paternity, 0%. I let the silence absorb it. Then I printed the page, a clean, emotionless summary of betrayal. She was in the kitchen making tea when I entered. She smiled faintly, tired. Did they call again? Is she all right? I placed the paper in front of her. She read it. Her skin turned the color of ash. I never meant for. I lifted my hand, not to stop her, just to feel the distance between us. A distance she had built over a decade. Her excuses spilled out, desperate, tangled, collapsing on each other. I listened like a man listening to rain hit a window, present but untouched. When she finally fell silent, I asked the question whose answer I'd known before I even asked. How long? Her voice cracked. 10 years. 10 years. 10 years of secrets she stitched into our daily life as if I were too blind to notice the seams. I nodded, not to forgive, but to acknowledge what I had already prepared for. I slid another envelope toward her. What's this? She whispered. Copies, I said. Of everything. The scans. The insurance logs. The deleted messages. The man you thought you erased. She went pale. You didn't? I did. I told her a lawyer had already been contacted. Custody arranged. Documents prepared. She grabbed my arm. Please, we can fix this. I stepped back, steady and emotionless. You buried the truth. I'm just digging it back out. She collapsed into the chair as if her body had finally understood the weight of her choices. I left before she could rebuild her lies into something soft enough to beg with. Back at the hospital, my daughter slept peacefully, unaffected, untouched by the storm circling her life. I sat beside her with a strange stillness settling within me, not peace but clarity. Some truths don't break you. They free you. When my phone buzzed with my wife's name, I let it ring until it died. Then I powered it off. For years I lived inside a story someone else wrote for me. Now I'm writing my own. And the final line is simple. I refuse to live beneath anyone's shadow ever again. Tell me, what would you have done in my place? If this story held you, follow for more. Like, share, comment.